Class is in session. This is your host, Whis. Thank you guys so much for joining us today for part 2 of Whis versus Hatch. Full disclosure, full disclaimer here. Hatchiak does not win the full match. Kyle actually wins the third round. Just for sake of consistency or redundancy, let me say, we're not going to post the third video. We don't want to just keep posting the same videos over and over again. But this is our second round, or first, I can't quite remember off the top of my head. It was a couple weeks ago where we played this. And I just charge and then use my Hatch's skill to burst one, take one card, the second card from the top of my deck, put it under it, and then draw one card. Pretty good effect, but I can't swing with the front side of my leader. Wouldn't have been able to swing anyhow since it is my first turn. So Kyle is doing a wonderful job. I want to let you guys know that this deck, Whis, is a really good deck, and more than anything, I'm putting this video up because I want to encourage people to buy and play this deck. It's a wonderful deck. So Kyle charges and he taps, and for 1 energy he plays himself this Whis. This Whis is great. It lets him look at the top 7 cards of his deck and add himself a Unison or a Skillless, and I think he added himself a Unison, if I remember correctly. And each time he combos with a Skillless battle card of 15k power, he is able to draw a card, as long as that card is yellow. And it's really helpful. It puts cards in the drop area that he needs, and it puts cards in his hand that he needs. So he goes ahead and swings with his leader to draw a card and then passes. I have 2 energy now, so I use one of them to play myself this blocker. Supreme Kai allows me to draw a card when it's played. And then I tap a second energy to activate the Majin Buu in my drop area. This Majin Buu at the end of the turn, as long as my leader and all of my energy is black, I can send this card to the warp for 1 energy. At the end of the turn, I pitch a card and draw 2 cards. And the card I pitch has to be black. So I go ahead and just pitch these 2 cards right here in my hand. Pitch that second Majin Buu, I apologize, from my hand so I can draw 2. And I pass turn. Alright, so Whis is really, really good because it's almost always going to have a turn 2 awaken. If it doesn't have a Unison in hand turn 1, it's going to have the Whis card in hand turn 1 so that it can find that Unison. As long as he has a Unison on board, he can restand an energy, take 2 life, and restand his leader, or awaken his leader. I believe it draws 1 card as well, which is what yellow is just good at. Yellow is just really, really good at just having hand value and just drawing cards and doing everything that it needs. So right here, I'm just asking Kyle, how the heck did your Unison go to 4? Well, he uptook it. He put my my blocker in rest mode, and now he's got free range to attack my leader with anything that he's got. So since I'm not swinging at him, he can't really combo with any of his cards during his turn, so that he can't play them, because he's only able to play his Gokus and Vegetas from the drop area if he combos with them during his opponent's turn. So he combos a Vegeta so that he can draw a card off of Whis. He taps 1 energy and plays himself a Basil, Bergamo. I don't know the name of all these wolf guys, but it's one of these. This one's good because for 1 energy it's on the board and it sticks. A lot of time your opponent isn't going to deal with it because it's 1 energy. But if your opponent has 5 or more cards in rest mode, that card gains 19k in dual attack, or 15k in dual attack, I apologize. So turn 3 is when Hatch is actually able to do whatever it needs to do now. So I use his ability, burst 1, put 1 card under it, and then draw a card, and then I can awaken. If I have 3 energies, and all those energies are black, and I have 3 cards under him, I'm able to awaken my leader and draw 1 card. I don't get to restand any energy, so it kind of hurts me a little bit, but the leader makes up for it in the long game. Again, for those of you guys that don't know what Hatch does, his ability affects both players on both sides, his front and his back side. Basically what Hatch does is that if a player has already swung with a battle card, they cannot swing anymore unless their second, third, fourth, fifth swing is a battle card with 8 energy or more. Okay, so the goal here is to stop aggro. That is the point for Hatch to do what it needs to do. The biggest problem with Hatch is that it also allows your opponent to do whatever the heck it wants all the time. So there's not a whole lot of good counterplays, not for black necessarily, and I also don't really have any boss monsters in the deck at this time, so I can't really do a whole lot. So I tap 2 black energies to overwhelm a Vegeta that allows me to warp any battle card that I want on his side of the field, ignoring barrier, and it lets me draw a card. So I do that to warp his Goku. I know he's only got 4 Gokus, or technically 4 2-drop Gokus, and and 3-drop Gokus. So I want to warp as many as I possibly can, as soon as I possibly can, so that he can't keep bringing them out. So I swing with my Vegeta straight at his Unison so that I can start making those counters go away slowly but surely. I pass my turn, my Overwhelm card goes away, and Kyle gets to start his turn off right here. So normal, Kyle draws and he charges. He has a lot of cards in hand. I can't stress this enough. Yellow's just good at doing something like that. So he pluses his Unison so that he can put my card in rest mode. My goal, all it is to not allow him to play his Gokus. And the Gokus and Vegetas that he does play, I want to kill them. So I have a couple different cards in rest mode. Since I have 5, he can start swinging at my Unison. And Kyle does a great job at not giving me cards in my hand and killing my Unison. So he swings at my Unison twice with this Basil. I'm just going to call him Basil. I didn't remember what it is. And then swing with his leader to draw a card and kill my Unison. My Unison is phenomenal. My Unison great, but he does a really, really good job at killing it. And then Kyle swings with his Vados Unison straight at my leader, and he combos 2 cards, one to draw and a draw ape. So he combos with the skill list so that he can draw off of his Whis skill. And then he activates the ape in the drop area, I believe, so that he can draw some cards. But I could be wrong. Yep, he doesn't do that quite yet. He's going to do it later just in case he has to drop a couple cards. So this is the turn where I start to have start giving Kyle a bit of a hard time. Again, this is already a deck that slows people down. So we want to play cards that just stop my opponent from playing cards. I charge myself this Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. And I start just tapping energy and playing a BMS this turn. So sorry about that. I tap 1 energy and I play my first BMS to bait out his counterplays or do whatever I need to do, but he doesn't use them. So I tap a second energy and play a second BMS. So now whenever Kyle wants to play his Goku or Vegeta from the drop area, from his hand, from the deck, wherever, because it's a 15k battle card, he's going to have to pitch 2 cards. But since I have 2 BMS on board, he's going to have to pitch 4. So again, I don't want to give Kyle value because he's already got a lot of cards in his hand, and eventually he's going to run out. So we're going to start swinging right at his Unison right here. And Kyle is thinking about whether or not he wants to combo out, so he doesn't. The reason he doesn't combo out, and I could be wrong, but I think the reason he doesn't combo out is because his Unison is going to take the hit anyhow because my leader gains +5. And secondly, because if he does play a battle card, he's going to have to drop 4 cards from his hand. And that's something that he doesn't want to do. So I just go ahead and pass my turn here. He withstands everybody and his mother, and his Basil loses his skill. So now Kyle's goal isn't to swing at my leader. His goal is to get rid of my BMS so that way he can actually start playing the game now. Again, BMS, all it does is just slow him down, stops him from playing cards that he needs, and it's really, really frustrating to be against. So Basil doesn't have his skill anymore, and Kyle's just trying to figure out, what do I need to do here? I don't have a lot of cards in rest mode, and I did that on purpose so that his Basil couldn't just start swinging again, but he puts my BMS in rest mode with his Vados leader, and he swings with Vados Unison, and he swings with his Whis leader at my BMS, and I just activate blocker right here so that it doesn't kill it. My goal is to protect him. And he taps 2 energy to combo out this ape, and then he plays the ape, and then I remember that I have a counterplay in hand. So I go ahead and activate Super Kamehameha so that ape isn't played. As a matter of fact, it's just sent straight to the warp. I really needed to get rid of that because it's a double strike. If he uses it on my leader, I'm dead. If he uses it on my BMS, I'm not going to be able to protect it. So he swings straight at my BMS again with Vados. And I take a second to think about what I need to do here. I'm just looking at the cards in my warp, planning for the future. And I think I negate here with Power Burst. That's right. And I take the life so that I can take myself and add this blocker from the drop area with an energy cost of 1. So that's what Power Burst does. I know everybody knows what Power Burst does, and I recommend you get a playset. If you guys can, definitely go out there and get yourself the ultimate deck, because it comes with foil Power Burst, which is really, really nice. If you buy 2 ultimate decks, you get a lot of nice play sets of foil cards. He swings with his 4k Basil. He can't activate his ability and give a double strike because I don't have 5 cards in rest mode. Now Basil is nice, especially against Hatch, because it gives it dual attack. So Hatch is issue here is that it doesn't allow him to swing with other battle cards, but if he has a battle card on board with double or triple attack, he can swing with that card over and over again. Or if you can manage to restand a battle card, you can swing with it again, which is something that Kyle can do if his cards do hit the board. I think that beers that he used actually allows him to restand a couple of his cards. So I'm gonna go ahead and apologize here. I think I take a bit of a time to think about what I need to do. So if you see the video kind of glitch in and out, it's not because we glitched in real life. I edited a couple things out, and I didn't want to sit here while the awkwardness is happening and try to commentate. So I go ahead and swing at his unison again, and so that way I get that draw. I don't need a whole bunch of cards in my hand, but I'm looking for specific things. And Kyle, what he does here is he does lose the marker on his unison, but he goes ahead and he says, you know what, forget it. I need Goku on board so I can start killing these things. So if I have to pitch 4 cards in order to get Goku on board, I'm going to pitch 4 cards in order to get Goku on board. And that's exactly what happens. He plays his Goku, and BMS's skill goes off, and he has to pitch himself 4 cards. And when you got to pitch 4 cards out of your hand, it takes a second to figure out what you want to do. So I wanted to see what he had pitched. And one of those was an 8, which kind of hurt me a little bit and helped him a lot of bit. But it's okay. It's going to be all right. We figure things out as we go in this game. That's how you're supposed to play this game, especially against wonky matchups like this. Neither one of these decks are meta. Neither one of these decks are in the top 15 or whatever it is. So we're just doing the best we can right here. Again, sorry about this. I took a bit of a time to try to figure out what I wanted to do. So I just tap a couple of energy. I think I tap 1 energy and play my blocker. And we'll find out here in a second. Again, I just want to encourage you guys, take a look at the Whis leader. Take a look at the Whis build. It's a great deck. A lot of value. Cards replace themselves when they die. And there's all sorts of packages and all sorts of tech that you can put in here because yellow has a lot of cards to reach from in their pool. So I tap an energy and I play myself this blocker that allows me to draw a card. So you saw the little glitch glare here because I took forever to think about this. So I tap 1 energy and I play myself the 30k Demigra that gains 5k power for every card in the drop area. In the warp area, I apologize. And I swing at his 1-drop Basil because I'm trying to kill it. And I go ahead and just pass turn, and it goes away since it's an Overrealm skill that plays this card. So Kyle charges an energy here, restands everybody and their mother once again, and he uses his unison skill to put 1 of my cards in rest mode. This seems to be a continuous thing that happens here, so he goes ahead and he puts my BMS in rest mode, and he EX evolves his Goku, allows him to draw a card. So he swings at my leader with a critical, something I don't want to take, and I use blocker. The reason why this Goku is so great is because when it swings, it allows him to kill any card on my side of the field that doesn't have any type of protection. So the yellow deck is different from others because it has a lot of easy removal. And it's really, really helpful for Kyle to continue to play those Gokus even if your opponent gets rid of them. And they replace themselves, which makes it so nice. So he swings with the leader and my leader. And he combos with Zamasu to put my second BMS in rest mode. He's trying to clear it. He's trying to clear it as best he can. So he's swinging 25k and my 15k. I combo out with this with the generic new super combo Vegeta, bottom deck 1, draw 2, and then I combo out with 1 more card in my hand. Comboing out with this Goku right here, Kakarot. I think it's called Kakarot 1 and only. I do play it sometimes, but it's more in there for tech for specific decks that I'm playing against. They play something that I'm really trying to kill. So Kyle swings again with his unison straight at my BMS, and I negate that with Son Goku making an entrance. Great card. Not necessarily because it's a negate that's a Goku, but because I use him for Saiyan Transcendent Son Goku, which is a card that allows me to Xeno evolve over a Goku Xeno with an energy cost of 3 or less. So I restand all my energy here. I charge another card. My energy is looking great. I think I might have more cards in my energy than Kyle and I have in my hand. So I play myself a second BMS and Kyle puts it in rest mode. And I needed that. I needed him to bait out. I needed to bait out his his counterplay. The reason being is because I want to play this Shenron right here. And Shenron is great. Because if he puts it in rest mode, he can swing at it, he can kill it, and that's something that I don't want to do. So I'm trying to get 5 cards on the drop area. I only have 4. so that I can activate Shenron's Sparking ability. Shenron's Sparking ability is that if I have 5 cards in the drop area, I'm actually be able to activate one of 3 abilities. His first one is to draw a card and restand 2 energies. The second one is to draw a card and play a 1-drop from the drop area. And his third ability is to draw a card and give any one of my battle cards critical for the turn. So I just, what I do, I think, is I activate Shenron's first ability here. I draw a card and I restand 2 energies. But Kyle is playing a couple different cards here. He's thinking, you know what, I was able to play the Son Goku last turn and kill cards, so I'm just going to do that one more time, even if it costs me dropping cards over and over again. So I activate Shenron's ability, draw a card, and restand 2 of my energies, just so that I can have a little bit of defense next turn. So it takes me a second, and I apologize again for the awkwardness of sitting here waiting for me to do something. But I play myself my Unison for 1 energy. And I give it a +1. So now he's at 2, so that I can choose 2 black battle cards from my warp and put them in my drop area. So I got myself 2 great battle cards, and one of them is so that I can draw 2 cards at the end of the turn. And I Overwhelm right here and bump my Unison up to 3, because whenever I activate Overwhelm, he gets an extra marker. And I do this just so that I can kill a couple of his cards on the board. I should have killed the Gokus and the Whis, but I didn't realize that he had the Whis under his blocker there. I didn't see it. So I go ahead and just start swinging at his Unison again, because my goal is to kill his Unison. If I can kill his Unison, that's half the game right there. That's half the problem. His Unison is the one that's giving my cards issue. So I want to go ahead and get rid of it as soon as I possibly can. I bump up my Unison to 4 with another card in my hand, and I don't think I do too much after this. I think I just go ahead and, nope, I tap an energy to play a blocker, and I should pass turn right here. My Overwhelm goes away. Kyle takes his turn right here. He restands all his energy, and I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe that he does not charge. He restands his Unison and his leader, and his board isn't looking as great as it should be. If you saw the game beforehand, or if you've seen Whis in action at all, you know that this deck, it just floods the field and starts swinging. It swings more than AOD, which is kind of terrifying, when AOD in and of itself is kind of scary. So he bumps up his Unison, puts my second BMS in rest mode, so now they're completely out in the open. So he swings with his Whis to draw, and I use my blocker to defend that, keep my BMS on board. If I keep BMS on board, I have total control of the game. He taps an energy for Basil again. Basil's a great card, wonderful card, and he activates Basil's ability. I got more than 5 cards in rest mode, so he just starts swinging, and I just negate with my sparking skill, and I take that so that I can add Son Goku making an entrance from my drop area to my hand. This is what I mean. I think I have 4 negates in the deck, and it's just 4 Son Goku making an entrance and 4 Power Burst. Power Burst has plenty of targets that can add back in this deck. So he continues to swing in my BMS over and over again. I negate 2 attacks on my BMS, and I think this is one of the ones that I do allow him to kill because of Shenron's second ability. Draw a card, play a 1-drop from the drop area. So I got plenty of energy there, 2, 4, 6, I think it's 6 energy. I draw myself a card, and I charge up to 7. I charge Boo because I already have Boo, so it's not a big deal. It's a no-brainer at all. So I activate my Unison skill and bring him down to 1 marker by adding 2 black battle cards between 20k and 30k from the warp to my hand. So I add myself removal. That's what I need. I need to remove cards from his side of the board, so that's what I'm doing here. Through the awkwardness, again, I apologize, so I go ahead and activate Shenron's ability and play a BMS from the drop area because he's an energy cost of 1. And I just go ahead and Overwhelm here just to wipe the cards on his board. I need to get rid of his blocker. I can't keep his Unison on board anymore. So I'm able to bump my Unison up to 2 markers because I activated Overwhelm. I apologize, I can't speak today. So I swing at his Unison with Hatch. So if he plays anything, he's going to have to pitch a lot of cards. And at this point, he's just not comboing. He's not going to play anything. He's just going to start taking these hits. So I Xeno Evolve, And then I swing 25 double strike at his unison, and I combo with the black battle card on board so that I can get 5 cards in the drop area and have my sparking ability live again. I use Saiyan Transcendence ability to put 4 black battle cards from my warp area into my drop, and now I have 5 cards again. I use Boo's ability, so at the end of the turn, if I pitch a black card, I'm able to draw 2 more cards. Now, Boo paired up with Saiyan Transcendence is really, really good. I mean, it's basically a 1-drop, draw 2 every single turn as long as Saiyan Transcendence stays on board. So at this point, I'm just going to wipe his unison because my unison now has 20k dual attack, and I swing twice at his unison and kill his unison. And I just passed turn. I got plenty of energy up. I got 2 BMS on board. I mean, Kyle's going to have to try really, really hard in order to get those off the board because he's got nothing to swing with. And don't get me wrong, I only have this game in lockdown because I was able to keep BMS on board. If BMS is not on board, Whis is going to do everything that it needs to in order to get rid of Hatch in any way. I mean, he brought me down to 2 life. This isn't as easy as it looks. I really mean that. So I negate here with Max Power Kamehameha. Don't activate Max Power to put it back in my hand because it's not that great of a card against this deck. Max Power is wonderful. So he plays his secret here, and I counterplay his secret. There was a bit of a debate here because we were trying to figure out if there was a way for me to actually get rid of it, but I was able to get rid of it with Super Kamehameha because his ability on his secret is that if he has 4 or more battle cards with 15k, is able to reduce the energy cost of that secret with 4 energy. Of 4 energy, I apologize. So it comes out with a 4 energy cost of 4, and that's the only reason I was able to get rid of it with Super Kamehameha. He plays his Whis just to get draw power again. His deck is looking small, his hand is looking smaller, and honestly, this is pretty much game at this point. But it's not. Again, not because I'm a better player than Kyle, just because I'm able to keep BMS on board with this deck so much easier. So I restand all of my energy right here, and I charge. I believe. Yep. I'm able to charge right here. So 2 BMS on board, a double strike. At this point, I tap 5 energies to Dark Overwhelm the Demigra Secret. For those of you guys don't know what Demigra Secret does, when it swings, I'm able to look at my opponent's hand and take 3 cards out of it and combo with them myself. So I use Shenron's ability to give him critical and 5k. So that's 45 critical, triple strike, and I use 3 cards from his hand to combo with. He still has plenty of cards in his hand. So I combo with his 2 super combos. They don't give me any value, so I don't get anything, but I do get an extra 5k off of his Vegeta, which gives him a 5k triple strike. So he combos with the Goku here just to get a draw. And there's a little bit of confusion here because he's trying to figure out if he wants to continue to combo. Is he just going to drop his whole hand in order to play Goku? What does he need to do? So, again, 50k triple strike critical thanks to Shenron, right at his leader. And this is a little thing that Kyle and I actually came up with. Kyle and I helped me work on this deck a little bit, and we came up with this strat ourselves. And he actually ends up taking it, but he does have to combo at least 1 card because he was able to draw off the Whis. So he goes ahead and he takes this critical right here, which is a triple strike. So he takes the triple strike critical and he plays the Goku and he pitches the rest of the cards in his hand. His goal is to play Goku. So if he can stick the Goku on board, he can play the next one and kill Demigra. But I kill his Goku, and that was it. That's all he could do, and he went ahead and just called it game. Again, thank you guys so much for joining us. Appreciate you guys watching. Full disclosure, Kyle wins the whole match. But I just wanted to show you guys that BMS is the biggest weakness to Whis. So if you are playing a Whis and you can get rid of BMS, you're going to be just fine. The Whis deck is really good at just replacing itself over and over again and just have major hand advantage over the opponent. I mean, you saw me pitch 8 cards out of his hand multiple times and his hand was still pretty big. So I really encourage you guys to go out, take a look at this deck, definitely play it. It's really good. Not a lot of people are playing Hatch, so it's going to be fine. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you guys always, and class is dismissed.